favorite covert agents.
Welcome everyone to the It's Time to Uncovert podcast. It's your girl Covert Agent 0615 here with another awesome episode. So I've been telling y'all that we have a special guest on one of these episodes for the month of September. And today, right now, we have Mr. Relentless, our first meal supporter, who reached out to us at Covert Beauty and wanted to come on and share his story with us. So we are so excited to have our first male supporter here on the podcast so y'all can hear his amazing, beautiful story. Now, before I bring him on, I want to give a huge shout out to The Trap here in Houston, Texas. They've been so amazing and so awesome in letting us use their beautiful creative space to have our podcast, record our podcasts, and they're just awesome. Like, they do everything. If you're in Houston, look them up. The Trap here in Houston. It's at the Encourager Church. It's just a really great space to get in your creative mind and express yourself and just do something awesome with what you already have in your mind. It's just a matter of you getting it out there, and they can help you with that. So shout out to The Trap. We love y'all, and thank you so much. So we have Mr. Relentless here on the show with us today. Mr. Relentless.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so I just want to say on behalf of everyone at Covert Beauty and here at the It's Time to Uncovert podcast, we are so excited and just so honored that you wanted to share your story here with us today.
Well, I appreciate that, and I am honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. So before we jump in to your story and everything that's, was going on at one point, I do want to let our listeners know which special topic we're talking about with your story today.
Okay.
So for the month of September, we are doing 3 special podcast episodes to talk about, 3 different subjects.
Okay.
We recently published our last episode with Reason 17 for National Suicide Prevention Month.
Okay.
And so you're here because your story matches really well with National Self-Improvement Month.
Awesome.
And I think once our listeners hear your story, I think they'll agree too.
I could agree to that.
Okay, so before we jump into what your story really is, I want to ask you this question. I think a lot of us may be interested in what your response is. What was it that made you say, I want to reach out to Covert Beauty, I want to let them know what my story is, and why are you here sharing your story with us of all people?
Well, first of all, I just want to give the credit where it's due. I think that what you guys are doing, Covert Beauty, the organization as a whole, I think is very dope. You guys are giving people the platform to tell their story, tell their truth, and find closure and put that period at the end of that paragraph in their life that they don't really want to go back and
Okay. Put a period at the end of the paragraph. I love it. And that, that's probably like the awesomest, cool comment that we could ever have. So thank you. So today we're going to put the period on your paragraph.
Absolutely.
And so I guess we can get started.
Let's go.
Right? Okay, so first question.
Okay.
How do you think people view you?
My perception of people's perception of me?
Yeah.
That sounds funny saying. Well, actually, honestly, it depends on the day,
Okay.
Like, it could be one of those days where I rush out the house and I'm not really well put together.
Okay.
And people will probably pass judgment in their minds or to each other that I'm probably bum, I'm probably a bum or not as put together as they would expect me to do, because of course society has this standard that they try to hold everyone up to, and it's basically messing up things for people with it's how can I say it? It's setting a standard that people are trying to live by, and it's not that. It's live your life the way you want to live your life.
Okay.
Do what you want to do,
Okay.
But other days, people could look at me and say, that's a very, well put together, smart, educated male, and I think that either way, people are gonna talk.
Yeah.
They talked about God, they're gonna talk. People's opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one. So yeah.
Okay. So depending on the day, they can look at you and say, "Oh, he's a little too comfortable today," He
Yeah.
looks kind of bummy,
Yeah.
or okay, like he knows how to dress himself. That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Give and take. Yeah.
give and take. Okay, and I think we all have those days where you just want to bum it out and
Yeah.
head to Walmart in your sweats and t-shirt, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Right? It doesn't change the person. It's just your clothes that you're wearing.
Right.
Okay. So I want to ask you to kind of just give us a little history, I guess, or where were you in your life a few years ago? Like, what was going on that you have overcome? That way we can kind of gauge the story of your self-improvement. So let's go back to the very beginning and what things led you, because I think you told us, when you reached out to us, that you were homeless
Yeah.
for some years, right?
Absolutely. On and off for 8 years.
Okay. So what led to that?
Well, a series of unfortunate events. I love the book, by the way. Guys have not read the book, seen the movie, go check it out. It's a very amazing book. But that's a really good title because a lot of people don't realize that you can go through a lot of series or a series of unfortunate events where you could be in a relationship and it doesn't work out, and you put your trust and your faith into that person, and they kind of do you a certain way, and it's kind of frustrating. And also I also have put my faith into friends, and went out on a limb and helped out, and I've had people run out on your rent. I've had people say that, "Don't worry, I got you. You're a bro, you're family," and that's not really the case. It's more so them trying to look out for themselves.
Okay.
Them looking for a come up. So I've
Okay.
been through relationships and friendships and
Roommate situations.
roommate situations
Okay.
where it didn't work out.
Okay, and so it sounds like these are a lot of real life, like everyday situations
Absolutely.
that anyone can go through.
Hmm.
So it's like at any moment, someone could think they're in a relationship that's very stable and that things are going good,
Yeah.
and then they turn your back on you. They
Oh,
do
yeah.
you dirty, and then next thing you know, you don't know where else to go because you thought this was going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Or you're in a situation where you moving in with friends, you're living with your friends, or someone that is like an acquaintance,
Yeah.
a roommate, and
Down on my luck.
yeah, they you down on your luck because they're not trustworthy, or like you said, like they looking out for themselves.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
they kind of leave you hanging with, okay, we got to pay rent or we got to do this, but what if you wake up one day and they're just gone?
Yeah.
They just move out.
And that's the hurt. That is the hurt because
Right?
you don't expect it. You don't put that's not in the back of your mind
Yeah.
at the end of the day because you put your trust into that situation, that
Yeah.
person, and you think that they're not going to betray you. And when they betray you, it feels like you got your heart broken by a woman, a female.
Yeah.
Like your whole world's over,
Yeah. These relationships that you invest so much in, and they just shatter you
Oh, yeah.
because you weren't expecting that. Because like you said, like it's like a person that you love or care about, and they just turn on you.
Yeah, and it's crazy because in a relationship or a friendship,
Mm-hmm.
they go hand in hand because you have to have trust. You have to put faith in a person and feel they have good intentions for you. And that's where the mental, the emotional, the mental part comes in at, because you're going to get emotional.
Yeah.
I got emotional. I was very mad
Yeah.
about the situation, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
That's the past, and we're gonna leave that there. So
Well,
we're here there.
So
today.
we're not gonna leave it alone completely.
Not
So
completely.
I want to
We're gonna
ask
put
you.
that.
I want to ask you this. So while you were homeless, right, and you have time to think about, dang, like this girl I was with, I was in love with her, whatever the case was, and that didn't work out. And these friends, these roommates that you trusted, they ran out of you, and now you are in this situation. It's like, okay, where are they, right?
Right.
What did that, and what did being homeless on and off for 8 years do to you, like spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically? Like how did it affect you generally in your life?
Well, it affected me in multiple ways. For one, I was very angry
Okay.
a lot of the times, because I felt as if it was done before, it could be done again, which
Okay.
absolutely happened over and over again. And that was part of the fact of me and my big heart. And I love and I love hard. So when I say that I have love for you. I really do. And I will give you the shirt off my back if I have to make sure that you're comfortable. So it was very draining, very depressing. I was in a very depressed state of mind, mentally. Spiritually, I was not there. I was backsliding. I was doing a lot of things that would be looked upon as bad,
Okay.
Spiritually, because I was trying to fill a void
Okay.
instead of, just healing myself and then getting back on the horse.
Okay. Okay. And so seeing how that situation really did hit you hard.
Yeah.
Right? Which one, I want to commend you for even sharing that, because
I appreciate
it's touchy.
Oh yeah.
These people that you trust and that you never in a day in your life would have thought they would have did you as dirty as they did, and they did. And it's like, well dang, like now what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to go forward trusting people? When you hear, oh, I'm not like them, it kind of makes you second guess, okay, like, can I really trust you, because I've been through this and this.
Right.
And like we touched on earlier, people don't really, like homelessness, I feel like people don't really understand that it can be these everyday life situations that
Absolutely.
can, put you in that position.
Yeah, you don't have to be an addict. You don't have to not want to work. You don't. Those are not circumstances that has to make you homeless, that have to make you, put you in this box where you are portrayed to be something that you're not. I was never an addict, never did any drugs.
Wow.
I was never addicted to alcohol. I was just down on my luck.
Yeah.
And people thought that just because I'm living out on the streets, I'm living day to day, I'm trying to maintain myself mentally as well as physically, that I was just not caring, and I wasn't putting up any effort, or I wasn't wanting to work, or I wasn't, I wasn't there mentally, because I know people, homeless people, who are mentally unstable, and that's not because of the situation. It's because people gave up on them. I feel like they're out there homeless with nowhere to go, no one to seek
Yeah.
because people gave up on them and they just stopped caring.
Yeah. Okay. And so that, I think that's really important to understand and to hear as well, because it's like it's not that you were just in this funk for 8 years because of your choice. You know, it was, you were really trying your best and trying to do what you could to get out of it.
Absolutely.
But it's just a repeated factor of no, and it's like of people not really being there when they're saying they're going to be there,
Right.
and then you're left with the damage in the end, and you're the one that people are looking at and saying, "Nah, he added because he's out here on the street,"
Right.
and that's not fair.
No, not at all.
So, was it difficult for you to talk about being homeless while you were homeless?
Yes.
Okay.
For the simple fact of people, like we discussed earlier, people are always going to talk. They're always going to form a judgment because of the simple fact that society has their own opinions. They want you to be living your best life, as I would say. You have to be doing something. You have to be moving in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're not. You're not where you should be, and that's a problem because, of course, society wants to put everyone in a box. You have to do this, you have to do that. Materialistic things are awesome, and you should buy a Ferrari because they're fast, and everyone's got one. Oh, you like that chain? Oh, you like that Rolls Royce or a Rolex? You should get it because that's what everybody else is doing, and that's one thing that I can say about me and my personality, that I don't want to be just another statistic. I want to show that you can be different and still stand out. You can still be different. You can still do your own thing and not have to worry about being judged or put on a facade to fake it to make it.
Okay. So I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Okay, so you're saying it was difficult to talk about it while you were living it because it wasn't necessarily following this golden guide outline that society has for people. Like, you should be doing this by this age, you should be here, you should be buying this. And it's like, and again, it's not because it was you didn't choose to, right? It was everyday life situations that...
It's just like going with the flow.
Yeah.
You know?
And your flow at that time was really difficult to deal with. And so you weren't able to necessarily live this predictable outlined life. And so the judgment that people already have, one, on homeless people, and then two, on you if you're not making it the way they think you should be making it, made that difficult for you to even share what's going on with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's understandable. And, I'm personally, and I know all of us here at Covert Beauty and all of us here at the podcast at It's Time to Uncovert are really happy that you didn't let those judgments of all these people and society and these materialistic things, let you stay in a position in life where you felt like you weren't going to make it. Because just from what I've seen and, when I'm able to talk to you about this story, you have a lot to offer. And I'm really glad that you didn't let all that other stuff keep you down.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Very glad I did too. I'm glad I took the steps that I did take so that I would be able to be where I am and look back and be able to pat myself on the back and give myself a round of applause because that journey was not easy at all.
Okay.
And it wasn't a walk in the park. It wasn't lollipops and gumdrops.
Yeah.
It was
hard.
It was hard.
Okay, so let's talk about those steps that you took. What was your healing process? What helped you get out of that?
Well, first and foremost, I rebuilt my relationship with God.
Okay.
I also rebuilt my relationship with my family.
Okay.
So that way I could take the help and I could get out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not be so clammy.
Okay.
I would say. I also kept doing what I do. I used music as an outlet. That's a very important thing for me. Because music is the expressive way to say how you feel. You know, you can express whatever you want via music. I write music, I sing, dance, rap. So those are all things that I was doing to keep my mind off of what's going on in the background. And keeping myself focused so that way I don't get depressed. I don't fall to drugs. I don't fall to alcohol. You know, I was staying true to myself in a sense, and I was just keeping my head on the swivel.
So you using things that you love, these outlets of music, writing music, listening to it, singing and rapping. I think you said dancing.
Yes.
Right? And while also building a relationship with God and with your family was very beneficial for you to come out or to cope and deal and heal from you being homeless for so long.
Right.
Okay. And so now that you are able to look back and recognize, like, this is what helped me get out of it, you know, if you could give yourself a piece of advice while you were living in that situation, you know, the you today talking to the you back then, what would that advice be?
That's a good question. What wouldn't I tell myself? Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. No. But I would say, hold on. Help is on the way. There is an end to this storm.
There's an end to this storm. I like that. Okay, because the storm, I like the storm part because it's like, you know, storms don't last forever.
Right.
So even if you're living in the moment thinking it's going to last forever, or it may feel
like forever.
Yeah, because I mean, 8 years is a long time.
Yeah.
You know, especially living in that kind of condition. I can only imagine how it felt to be in that moment. And so I think your advice is really beautiful because you would tell yourself back then, like, this isn't lasting forever, in a sense.
Yeah, it's not over. Don't give up.
Okay.
No matter how, you know, steep it looks.
Yeah.
You can still climb that mountain.
You can still climb the mountain. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Sounds like you've been thinking about that advice for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, this episode is for National Self-Improvement Month. So, we've talked about some of the things that led you to getting to the position where you were living homeless for so long. Okay? And what things that you dealt with while being homeless, the judgment, you know, the challenges of believing that you can trust other people. And then we talked about, you know, the healing process. So, you know, like what factors help you get out of it, right? So I think what I want to know and what our listeners want to know is, where are you today? What's going on with Mr. Relentless now? Where's the self-improvement?
Well, the self-improvement. I am currently in school for my bachelor's for software and development in IT, information technology. I currently am an apartment owner.
Okay.
I rent my own apartment. I have my own place, my
Okay.
own space to use my outlets as freely as I like.
Okay.
Still writing music, still rapping, still dancing, still singing, still have that great relationship with God and my family. It's just getting stronger. So I can say that I've come very, very far from where I was.
Yeah. Okay, so you were on the streets on and off 8 years.
Yeah.
And today you have your own apartment that you can go in and out of freely as whenever you want
Whenever
to.
I want.
Do whatever you want.
Yes.
Right? You're in school.
Yes.
for, was it software development?
Software development. Yes.
Okay, so IT,
Yes.
which means you could fix my computer right if it breaks.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Have no fear. IT is here.
I love that. Okay, so that is a really great current position to where you are, right?
Absolutely.
That's a big flip from where you once were.
Yeah.
What situation or what was there, should I say, was there a particular event or situation that was the bridge, if you will, that you took to get from being homeless for so long to where you are today? What happened? What was it?
Well, in the transition from being homeless to helped was me basically sitting myself down, having this real talk with myself, like, you're comfortable. I had to, and one thing about being comfortable and used to what you're doing is that's basically, that's egotism. So, like, you have to be very closed-minded to not take help, not reach out to someone for help when you have the resources. And it took me to stop submitting to my ego, stop giving in to it, for me to step out on that ledge and take that help finally and receive the call, say yes.
Okay.
You know, and that is a major step that I took, and I'm very glad I did.
So you were able, so you said you got the call? Like, did you literally get a phone call and that was...
Absolutely.
Okay.
I got a phone call from my sister, and it was like, well, when do you want to do this? And I was kind of like, well, let me move some things around. Of course, I was like, still thinking I can do this by myself.
Yeah.
I don't need help.
Yeah.
I was still in that mindset. I
Okay.
was still determined to prove that I can do it and I don't need help. And it was like something clicked, and it was like, I'll give you a week. Okay. It was just like I got comfortable with being uncomfortable in order for me to say yes.
Okay. So your sister called you,
Yes.
basically was like, when are you gonna stop? Like, when
When-
are you gonna do this?
When are you gonna stop? When are you gonna stop being a little brat?
Yeah.
When are you gonna stop saying no
And just
to
accept the help.
Yes, exactly. Just accept the help.
Okay. So what did you do, or was it what you touched on earlier, that, the preparation, or what part of your healing process was it that put you in the mindset and in the space to say, you know what, sis, I'm ready now?
I got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Okay.
And I finally gave in and said enough is enough. Like, I don't deserve this. I don't need to put myself in these predicaments anymore. And of course, God played a big role, because yes, I was homeless, but I was still seeking God. I still had a relationship with Him. I wouldn't per se, well, when I was living in a homeless shelter, of course it was mandatory that we went to church.
Yeah.
A lot of people fell asleep. I actually listened, and I actually processed everything that I was being told.
Yeah.
And did research on my own, and found out that it's real. What's being said to me is real, and it's factual. It's
Okay.
not fraudulent. So God played a big role in the process
Okay.
of me finally saying, look, you tried it this way so long,
Yeah.
okay? Enough is enough. It's time for you to live and not struggle.
Okay.
So,
All right. And so, because the role that God had in your life, or still has in your life, right? You were mentally prepared and just, I guess, even spiritually prepared too, to let your sister know when, because I bet you were expecting that phone call again anyway from her, right?
oh yeah.
That she was gonna keep calling you until.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
a bug. So my sisters, I love them to death. And
Yeah.
they're bugs, but that's what family is.
Yeah.
You know.
And it sounds like all they wanted to do was just bug you enough until you said, okay.
All right.
Yeah, like kind of give in
Yeah.
in a way, you know. And without God, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
No.
But because you had God in your life, you said, okay, I'm ready.
Absolutely.
And then you, bless you. And then you were able to say, all right, I'm ready. I'm tired of this. Like you said, like I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And now you're able to say, I'm in school for my bachelor's. I can fix your computer if I need to, right?
Yeah.
I have my own apartment. I can go in and out whenever I want to. Like, you're doing all of this stuff now because you seeked what you knew you needed.
Right.
So I want to ask you one last question before we close out. For our listeners that may be living in a homeless situation or in an unstable housing situation where they don't know, what's going to happen day to day, you gave advice to your former self, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those who may currently be dealing with what you went through?
I would tell them to stay strong, that society is not what society portrays, and that you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
If you can believe it, you can achieve it.
I like that. It's cheesy, but I like it.
It's cliche, but
It is cliche, but it works.
it does. I want to instill hope,
Okay.
and that was the reason why I went with that cliche line,
Mhm.
because it's cliche, but it still instills hope
Mm-hmm.
in your heart that, dang, if he can go through all of that and make it, and like can be in a better situation,
Yeah.
I can do it too.
Yeah.
That's my goal, to reach those who don't have that encouragement, who can't reach out to someone, who are unable to mentally process everything.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. 'Cause I know there's a lot of people who, and like you said, music was useful for you while you were in that situation.
Absolutely.
So that's why I really wanted to ask you personally, how or what would you say to those who are currently in that situation?
Yeah, I'd definitely tell them to use the outlets and use them with the purpose.
Use them with the purpose. That's important. The purpose part.
Yes.
Not just use them just to use them.
Yeah. If you just use them just because, then you're using them, but it's kind of useless and it's kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to use them, I want you to use them with a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
to be successful, to strive for greatness.
Okay. Strive for greatness.
Yes.
All right then. Well, Mr. Relentless, I am again so honored and so happy that you, one, were even willing to reach out and share your story with us. And
I
then,
appreciate you guys having me.
of course, I mean, and for you to come here and on this platform and share your story with all these people.
It's an amazing platform.
Thank you.
No problem.
You know, this is just, I hope you know that you are probably inspiring a lot of people just by them listening to part of your story, because I know this isn't your whole entire life.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Right.
And so just this little part of you was so big and emotional, and you know, it hit you in many ways, but you were able to overcome it, and now you're here doing all these great things. And so I'm just so happy that you chose us to share your story.
I'm glad I made the right choice, and man, I'm lost for words on how honored and happy I am to be here, because I don't know where I would be if I wasn't here. I don't know who I'll be telling this story to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so at home and at peace with you guys, and I'm excited for the whole brand, the whole organization of Covert Beauties.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love what you guys are doing with this whole podcast, giving people the platform. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. That means a lot to us. So, I mean, I can keep saying thank you over and over, but it really, like, I hope you know that really does come from the bottom of all of our hearts here at Covert Beauty.
Absolutely.
For you to say that.
Well, I appreciate that.
And so everyone, that was Mr. Relentless sharing his beautiful, awesome story of how he overcame being homeless for on and off 8 years. And now he's in school. He is getting his bachelor's in software development.
Yeah.
Got his own place. He's doing big things. He's writing music, rapping, singing, dancing. So you know what? I think we can all some way relate to that. There is something that we're dealing with, and other people may not understand, but it will make you better, no matter how ugly it is. And Mr. Relentless, again, thank you so much for visiting with us today.
No, thank you for having me.
So for everyone that is still listening to us at the It's Time to Uncovert podcast, we have just a few little updates. Again, for the month of September, we are doing 3 special episodes of the podcast because y'all asked for it, and because we love all of our supporters. We want to give you all what you want. And so Mr. Relentless was here talking about his story for National Self-Improvement Month. We had Reason 17 sharing her story for National Suicide Prevention Month. And then we'll have one more guest this month coming on to share her story for National Sexual Health Month. And so I think you all will be interested and curious and hearing the different twists that we're going to bring for that episode, because it's not only going to be about protecting yourself physically, using condoms and different contraceptives, but the mental preparation, the mental protection that a lot of us probably don't even think about until after the fact or ever at all in our life. And so I'm really excited for y'all to hear that story, and that will be coming out later on in this month as well. We do still have lashes and mirrors for sale at our website, www.covertbeauties.com. Remember, our Never Judge a Book by Its Covert Eyelash was inspired by G.I. Payne, who was here for the first ever episode of the It's Time to Uncovert podcast. And so if you're still looking for some lashes to wear, the ones you have currently right now aren't really looking all that good. We have some high quality, beautiful products. And so, check us out, www.covertbeauties.com. We love you, and that's why we're making sure that what you get from us is really, how can I say this? Really embracing, or not, embracing, and I'm not gonna lie, the lashes are beautiful. I love them. You can get up to 25 wears with them, if you clean them and you protect them properly. And the mirrors, these self-reflection mirrors, y'all, they have these LED lights on the side. It's like a vanity mirror in your pocket. It's awesome. Remember, we did sell out launch day, and so we have some still available for sale. So make sure that you're going to the website, www.covertbeauties.com, to buy your beautiful products. And while you're there, go ahead and go to our Contact Us page all the way to the bottom, and you'll see the Aunt Bertha search engine where you can go look for social services in your area. If you were triggered in any way, or someone, or maybe you personally are just looking for assistance because of something that you heard in any of these podcasts, Aunt Bertha is our official partner. They're like a Google search for all social services. So go to the Contact Us page at our website, go all the way to the bottom, type in your zip code, hit enter, and you'll be able to find social services for you in your area at low or no cost. Because we love you, we don't only care about your appearance and lashes or mirrors, but also your health and mental health and whatever else that you need. We want to be able to provide you with those resources, okay? So again, big shout out to the Trap here in Houston, Texas, for giving us this beautiful, awesome space to do these podcasts at. We love them so much. Y'all, if you're in Houston or ever plan on coming to Houston, make sure you check them out. They're at the Encourager Church. Awesome people, good vibes. It's just really encouraging and supportive of you expressing yourself creatively in many different avenues, not just media like podcasts, but painting and other stuff, photography, videography. They have an awesome mural. It's beautiful. So check them out. All right, y'all. This is Covert Agent 0615 with Covert Beauty at the It's Time to Uncovert podcast with another amazing episode that we had with Mr. Relentless. Stay tuned for more information on our other podcasts and other Covert Beauty news. Check us out on Facebook at our Covert Beauty page and on Instagram at Covert Beauties. All right, we'll love y'all. See y'all next time.
Thank you for listening. All residual pain related to the content of this message will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.